Many of you out there have asked me, Brad, how heavy is your Jeep? And well, with all the upgrades and the gear that I've added to my Jeep Wrangler over the last several years, it's gotten pretty heavy. But recently, I've put it on a diet, and we've got some things that we're gonna do that are gonna make this the perfect rock crawler and overlander. We're gonna talk all about Jeep weight today, and I'm gonna give you some specific numbers. This is gonna be pretty cool. Stay tuned. Welcome to Trail Recon. I'm Brad, and it is time for my Jeep Wrangler to go on a diet. It has gotten heavy over the last couple years, and today in this video what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about some of those things that have actually made it so heavy. I'm going to talk about a few things that I've already done to put it on a diet and what I'm planning on doing going down the road to make it a little bit lighter. I've actually got something in the garage we're going to do here today to make it a little bit lighter, which should be pretty cool. But I think it's an important conversation to have about vehicle weight, because you cannot just keep throwing pound after pound after pound on any vehicle because it's not good for it. But we'll get to that here in a minute. But first, let me talk about where I'm going to go here in the next couple days. I've got an adventure plan. We're doing a long weekend with a couple close friends. Going to do some off-roading, some camping, and some cooking. It should be a great adventure. I know a lot of folks have been asking, Brad, when is the next trail video? Well, it's coming soon. So make sure you hit that bell notification so you'll find out when the next video pops. Now, before we get into any specific weight numbers, let's address the elephant in the room. And yes, I just referred to my Jeep, my big silver Jeep, as an elephant. I've taken the doors off, the top is off, and all my gear has been stripped out of here. It's been a while since it's looked like a proper Jeep. I need to definitely do this more often because I've been driving around in January here in Southern California with this, and I've just enjoyed just how much better the performance is and how much more fun it is to drive in this configuration. But when I'm out filming, dust, mud, all the weather elements are a killer on camera gear, so that's why it almost always has to stay closed up, at least when you see it, because that's usually when I have my camera gear out there with me. But I think going down the road, maybe a little bit more of this is necessary. You know, the hardtop itself is super heavy. I mean, with the roof rack on there, all the accessories, it takes two people. It's even really hard with two people to get that roof rack off and back on. I don't think the hardtop is going back on anytime soon. So why is my Jeep Wrangler so heavy? Well, over the years, I've done a lot of upgrades to make it stronger and perform better when I'm out on the trail. And for example, the suspension system, the coilovers and all the bracketry, the beefier control arms, those add weight. I did a front Dynatrac axle. We've got skid plates underneath. I've got heavy front and rear steel bumpers. We've got some rock sliders. We've got fenders, although the fenders are aluminum, so those actually saved us a little bit. We've got brake calipers that are heavier, steering box that's heavier. We've got wheels and tires. It's a heavy boy without any of the overlanding stuff. In fact, I went to the scale yesterday and weighed it. You ready for this? 5,060 pounds in this configuration with none of my overlanding gear in there, no doors, no top. That's 500 pounds over a stock Rubicon with its doors and top on. That's crazy. Okay, now what about in overland configuration? Let's throw the doors back on there. Let's throw all my gear in there, the fridge in there, the rack, the rooftop tent, everything as you see it here in the video is 6,283 pounds. Oh my gosh, it's heavy. That's 583 pounds over the gross vehicle weight rating, and that is without me or any passengers in it. My Jeep has gotten heavy, and it's time to put it on a diet. Now, I want to be clear that I'm not unhappy with the way my Jeep has performed with everything on there. It has taken me to some amazing destinations, and we've hit some pretty difficult trails in that configuration. But to be honest, there have been some trails that I've shied away from because with all that gear, the rooftop tent, you're top heavy, and there's just some places that, you know what, I'm not willing to risk. Plus, I'm going back to the Rubicon this year. I'm definitely not taking a rooftop tent and a refrigerator. I'm going to try to be as light as possible. And so I want to get it a little leaner and meaner and make it perform better and go hit some of those harder trails. Plus, I've got the Gladiator for the long expeditions, and if I want to put a ton of weight on there, I can. And I'm borrowing that trailer, which this could tow, which could be a lot of fun to go do a difficult trail with the trailer on there. Plus, I can always throw the stuff on here if I want to. It's not hard to swap all that stuff off and on. But GVWR, gross vehicle weight rating for the Jeep Wrangler, is 5,700 pounds. With my Jeep in this configuration being 5,060 pounds, the minute that I throw the doors on and throw a couple passengers in there and just some basic gear, I'm probably already going to exceed that. So will I ever be back to GVWR? I don't know, probably not, but I want to find some balance somewhere in there to make it somewhat capable and perform well, but still be close to that weight. Because look, you start putting a lot of stress on things with a lot of weight, things break. I mean, we've already had things break over this last year. The last thing I want to do is, have some cracks on the chassis. So that's something that's kind of in the back of my mind. How can I still do what I want to do, but make it lighter? So the first weight saving thing that I've done, and some of you have already commented about this previously because you've already taken notice, is I got rid of the bead locks and I've gone back to a standard alloy wheel with these Patagonia tires. My previous setup with the KMC bead locks and the Cooper tires, those weighed 121 pounds. This setup right here, same size tire, it's 106 pounds. That's a 15-pound per tire savings in the same size tire. And when you're talking about rotating mass, makes a difference. It's made a huge difference on acceleration and braking. Plus, I just like the look of these. And now I don't have to stress so much when I'm trying to get a tire balanced or something, getting a tire shop to mess with it because most places won't touch the bead locks. Hopefully I don't regret this decision. The bead locks have served me really well, but I have wheeled in the past some hard trails without bead locks, and I have plenty of friends that wheel without them. I don't think the bead locks will go back on, but who knows? Maybe I'll be, eating these words here in the future. Another thing that we're going to be doing right now is I'm not planning on putting the rooftop tent back on here, and I'm downsizing my camping gear. Now, I will have a rooftop tent on the Gladiator and the trailer, but it's really not necessary on the Wrangler. Look, when I started out, I didn't have a rooftop tent on here, and we would still go do multi-day trips with camping. And you know what? This is what I had with me. I had a backpack that's got a ground tent, it's got a sleeping bag, it's got a pillow, I've got a mat in here. I mean, I've done backpacking a long time ago, but when we first got the Jeep and started doing it, this is all I took with me. I didn't have all this crazy overlanding gear. I love having all those conveniences, but you know what? At the end of the day, this is all I really need. So when I go to the Rubicon, this is what I'm taking. When I go do, a trip to Alaska, well, we're taking the Gladiator and we're taking all the nice comfy gear to make it a comfortable trip. So there's balance there. I think it'll depend on what I'm doing to what my needs are. So if I'm not going to put a rooftop tent back on the Wrangler, do I even need the hard shell rooftop? It's fiberglass. It's got glass windows. I think that thing by itself weighs around 140 pounds with the Freedom panels. And then you add my roof rack on there, which I think that's about another 65 pounds. That's 200 pounds that I could take off the Jeep, and I could install a soft top, which is a fraction of that weight. Now, I know there's some pros and cons to both, but look, I'm going to be wheeling this hard, and it might be nice to take the top off more often, and it would be easy to do that with a soft top. So that's what I'm going to do right now. I bought a Smitty-built soft top. I've got all the components. At least I hope I have all the components. And I'll leave a link down below if you guys want to see what I purchased and how much it is and what you need to convert from a hard top to a soft top. But I'm going to install that. Then I'm going to throw the doors back on. And I think, I'm even going to throw my backpack in here with all my camping gear. And we will go put it on the scale and we'll see what the new weight configuration is. All right, let's get started. I purchased 4 different items to do this conversion. I bought a premium soft top, the bow assembly, the door surrounds, and the tailgate bar. Each piece came with its own set of directions, but I'd probably give them all a B-. I would have liked to have had more details in the pictures and the instructions. Some of the steps were just a little bit unclear. I started off by assembling the door surrounds, which are made of a really thick, durable plastic. Installing the door surrounds onto the Jeep was easy and straightforward. Everything lined up perfectly. There were just 3 screw knobs that hold it into place using the factory locations. Then I removed the 2 mounting brackets from the bow assembly and attached one to each side of the Jeep's rear roll bar, and that allowed me to hang the entire bow assembly into place. Next, I secured the bow assembly to the brackets, and for you soft top owners out there watching, you can laugh at me because I've never done this before, and so it took me a few minutes to figure out how this all extends. I also realized it's much easier to do outside, so I'm not having to work around my garage door opener. I then laid all the canvas pieces in the sun to make them a little easier to work with. I'm really glad that I got the premium canvas with the tinted windows. This seems like really good quality stuff. I next snapped the brackets for the tailgate bar into place, and then it was time to put the soft top on. But make sure you read the directions first. Unlike what I'm doing here, you need to start from the front and work your way back. There you go, Brad. Now you got it. There were a few connections I needed to make with the tension cable, and then just tugging and pulling all the soft top sections into place. If you are a hardtop owner like me and have never installed a soft top, it's pretty straightforward, and I know it will be much easier the next time now that I'm a little familiar with it. All right, that was quite a bit of work, some tugging and pulling and just trying to figure out how everything goes together because I've never had a soft top on here. But let me say that, you know, I saved a little money going with Smittybilt, and I am very happy with the quality. The canvas, the zippers, the fitment in general. Very, very good stuff, and I think this is perfect for exactly what I was looking for. Now, I've got a couple other things I got to do. I got to get up there and screw some of the fabric into those rails, but it's all black in there, and there's no way I'd get a camera in there. And then I'm going to throw the doors on, and then we're going to go get a weight and see where we're at. Let's get this wrapped up and head over to the scale.
I recommend everybody weigh their off-road vehicle. I think it's information you need to know. And if you are interested in seeing how heavy or light your vehicle is, you can usually find a truck scale weight along the highway that you can use. But I happen to have one that's near where I live that's actually at a garden supply store. They charge me just 10 bucks. It's fast and convenient. So I got my weight and headed back home.
So I was expecting the drive out to the scale to be a little noisier than it actually was now that I have the soft top. But you know what? The wind noise was a little bit louder. The road noise was a little bit louder than the hard top, but it was definitely manageable. It's not a problem. It's going to be just fine. And on my way home, I was remembering back to when I bought the Jeep. And I walked into the dealership and I said, I want a silver Rubicon that's got a soft top on it. And they didn't have one anywhere in the entire region. And I said, just give me the silver Rubicon with the hardtop. And so it's funny that now, 5 years fast forward, I finally got my silver Rubicon with the soft top. I'm happy with it. I like the way it looks, and I'm really happy with the weight. And so what did the scale come in at? Well, we're at 5,300 pounds. That's a significant decrease in weight from where we started. And I have my camping gear in the back, my backpack and all that kind of stuff. But once I get in there, my son gets in there, we throw some food and water and tools and recovery gear, everything we need for a long trip, we're still gonna be probably over that 5,700 pound gross vehicle weight. But you know what? That's manageable. I can live with that. I'm not upset. At least I'm not way in the 6,000s. And I think there's still some things that I can do to decrease the weight. You know, I've got steel bumpers front and rear. Maybe we could swap those out for aluminum. Skid plates underneath. Maybe there's an opportunity there to kind of lighten things up with some aluminum as well. Now, I'm not trying to go ultra light. I'm not ripping back seats out and gonna pull the spare tire off. I think there needs to be some kind of balance between capability, performance, and function and trying to be lightweight. So will I ever be under 5,700 pounds when I'm out on a multi-day trip? I don't know. If we can get there, that'd be cool. But at least driving around right now, I am, which is good news. I hope you've enjoyed this. Thanks for watching.